Your Sleepless God, back with a new video of what if Midoriya was Big Chill. Last time we left off, there is now two teams going after Midoriya. One is Nezu's team, trying to find him, trying to talk to him, trying to figure out what he is. And the other team is, we really don't know team, and is trying to find him and trying to make basically clones of him to make a giant army of pro heroes so the crime rate will go down. Through the time that they've found a new home, found a new cave, as this now new cave system actually has a giant drill for it, and massive use for that drill can be finding other iron mines so they can eat better. That's basically where we left off last time. Let's start out. Actually, one other thing, we see the older man that we have seen before, the younger child, as he says to her, "You don't have to worry about Mom. She's somewhere else." As two police officers knock on his door, complain about noise complaints. As now we're finally done with the explaining, we can start the video off. As Annabeth and Percy right now, they're just trying to figure out the machine and trying to figure out how it works. As Annabeth has a basic understanding of how this machine works and how this machine is processing and able to use, but she's really not used to the controls of it. She's okay with like the GPS service and all that stuff. Like, that is simple technology and simple stuff, but she's not used to the controls and stuff like that. As Percy and Annabeth are basically learning about how to use this thing from the user manual, as they are basically trying to figure out other iron mines and other stuff like that. As bro heroes they can hear them almost every day walking out, like snapping tree branches and stuff like that out of their forest, and it's very similar footsteps to hiking, so they don't know if it's hikers or pro heroes. They're still just basically hiding from all of them. As we go into a meeting, as Nezu is standing above all of them, as it says, "Any reports? Anything?" As one of the groups raises their hand and says, "Yes, we found an old iron mine that's been basically abandoned for many years now, as the cave opening that should have been open is now frozen shut." Nezu looks at him and says, "Frozen shut? Like concrete, or like what do you mean?" "What I mean is frozen shut with ice." As he seems like he's pondering for a couple seconds, as he says, "That's probably where they are. Okay, I'm gonna need 6 groups of pro heroes, all groups of 4, to go into that mine and try to, and if necessary, bust through the ice carefully and try to talk with the new species or new quirk that we see. Be gentle, be courteous, and especially don't try to spook it. It probably has already seen humans before and it's not comfortable with them. Probably staying in the wild for a reason. So be careful." As all the heroes would say, "Aye," as they all walk out, as we see a man in the shadows listening to this, as he is basically cloaked in this, like, almost like his own cloak and his own body is like mist almost, as he's like standing in the corner. As when they all walk out, it seems like he sneaks with them. As when he finally gets out, he gets out to the UA property, as he sneaks out, as he goes into this abandoned hotel, basically. That seems like it's been abandoned for many years. As he sees 3 other people, a woman with this bluish hair to her and greenish, almost like teal eyes, as we see another man in more buff shape with a giant sword on his back, and it seems like a golden tooth. As we see another man, a little bit more skinnier form and like with black hair, with a couple scars down his face. As the skinnier man says, "Jericho, what did you learn?" As the man says, I didn't learn. I only learned a couple things, but I learned that they are searching for an old mine that seems like it's the opening of the mine has been frozen. But that's all I learned, as frozen. They said they were going to bring 6 pro heroes to the 6 groups of pro heroes to the diamond mine or the silver mine to see if there's any evidence or anything to that there is other creatures that we've looked at. As thank you, Jericho. As a blue-haired girl looks at him and says, Mikey, what do you think we should do with this? First off, we have to get there before they do, test out the scenario, and see if we can capture one of them, or maybe both. One of the crewmates says, both? We've only seen one, what do you mean? As Mikey looks at the really buff guy, and he looks at the girl and he says, you think this is the only one here? No. Obviously not. It has to be multi-species. They're trying to reproduce here, trying to bring out their families here. Trying to capture this Earth, obviously. Maybe their planet is not big enough, or maybe they just need more, just people. Or their planet can't handle all of those people. So, I'm guessing there's 2. As the really buff guy says, what if there's only one, though? What if there's, what happens if there's only one? Like, what is your plan then after that? As he says, if there's only one, we do the same plan. We poison the one to the point where they passes out, take him to the boss, we get paid, it is left. As the blue-haired girl says, but what if the plan fails? And the plan fails, and we can think about it later, but we would have to get going. Okay? As, you know, my ice quirk might not be useful with this type of organism if it has ice powers. As the man named Mikey says, I'm aware of obvious that, Mindy. So, well, I need you to use it as more of a defense barrier to take us time to get through the ice and also capture it. As Mindy looks at both of them and says, fine, but I'm warning you now, if I freeze up and I can't move anymore, someone of you are carrying me. As Mikey just says, fine, okay boys, let's get moving. As you see Jericho like fly away into the car that's been parking there, as you see Mindy hop in the back with the big buff guy, as you see the main boss, Mikey, hit the accelerator as he shifts into second gear instantaneously as he starts peeling off. As we go back into Percy and Annabeth, as Percy and Annabeth are basically are starting to figure it out, and they actually learn how to turn on the drill and start it to going, and they also learn how to like move it and start digging down, and they also learn where with the colors. There's like different colored lines on the GPS. So red is more of a red is gosh dang it, what is it called? Red can be multiple things. It can be red diamonds, but it mostly is sulfur or sulfur mix. Brown to black is more of a natural resources or coal. Blue is usually diamonds, and a gray, just straight gray, is usually metal. And you know, gold is gold. A yellowish color is always going to be gold. As they're like, okay, so if we can get through the earth with this thing, we can, as Annabeth says, go through the natural veins and never probably have to run out of food again, or if we do, not for a very, very long time. As Percy says, that's going to be incredibly useful, especially for the reasons that we have. As says, but let's get some sleep before we start mining start mining into the earth, okay? As Annabeth yawns. Yeah, maybe, but I feel like we should, as Annabeth's like eyes start shutting, it's like, I think, you know, we should as she falls asleep on Percy's arm, as Percy picks her up, as he's like, I knew you wouldn't last that long, as Percy flies up to the basically top of the room, because it's, think of like a door opening, and then it's just a straight drop into this like giant cavern where the drill is. As she flies up there, as he freezes the doorway of their room, as he lays her on the floor, as he also sleeps. As Jericho, Mikey, and Annie for short, they call her Annie for short, Annie are outside looking at the basically almost clear as day ice thing, as Annie's just like, I couldn't make it that beautiful even if I tried. As Jericho says, I can't fit for any of those edges. They're too perfect. They're too not symmetrical, but they're too tight. I'm not that malleable. As Mike is like, I know, but we're gonna have to figure out a way to get through that and not be too much noticed by the pro heroes or anything like that, especially maybe from the things inside of it. As you see the big buff guy, as he looks over and says, Bob, I don't think we're going to need your strength this time, but we might need it, so keep in the back. Just remember, he looks around to all his team, don't be sorry for your mistakes, but just keep going. Try to get through this before the pro heroes can. As we switch viewpoints to a older looking man with green hair, as he's tied a young girl to a chair, as he has a needle in his hand, as he's going to stab, as you hear a busting down of a door, as he looks back, as he sees you see three police officers and 3 men, 1 woman. Actually, sorry, 4 police officers, 3 men, 1 woman. As both the guys says, "Put the needle down! Put the needle down!" As the guy puts his hands up, as a shotgun is put at his face, as he you look down the shotgun as you see a woman with a beautiful green hair, still young face, as she says, "What the fuck did you do with my daughter?" As this is where we're ending off. I know it's a little bit short, but there's going to be a next one tomorrow. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.